Hi Rich, it's Karen. Just reviewing your framework plan and changes for this week's assignment. I was having some trouble with YouTube and the webcam on my computer once I figured out YouTube. So here I am, I'm going to do it on my phone and hopefully the file will upload for you. If it doesn't, I'll try to message you, we'll figure it out. But I do have to say I did enjoy reading your plan and your framework, and I do agree with quite a bit of it. The first thing is pre-planning and planning in general. We stress that so much at work, and it is extremely important. I think being able to pre-plan a little bit just puts you ahead of the game and ahead of the disaster, and that can also make recovery time a lot shorter. As long as information, you brought up a good point about almost knowing your audience and how to communicate with them. But also, of course, if you have a population that is unable to read, then don't send them letters that they won't be able to read. That makes sense. But another thing of information I thought was missing was maybe information between agencies, and a lot of agencies actually do not have radios that can talk with everyone, and interoperability is a huge thing. So if you do have a disaster, it's important that EMS can talk to fire, that can talk to PD, all on a certain station, but at the same time not get involved with dispatch and being able to change stations as well. I'm not sure if where you come from, if you guys are able to do that. We are able to do that for certain events that we hold in Springfield. However, we don't use them on an everyday basis. Another thing that you had brought up was operational coordination and how the leadership should be able to lead their people, and you do need to have the right people on top. And I agree with you on that. The way that you worded it, it actually made me think of the FEMA director during Katrina, Michael Brown, and who was a lawyer and didn't even have any emergency preparedness classes or anything like that. So I think not only do you need to possess certain skills in order to lead people, I do think that they should have a solid educational background as well. With the economic side of it, you brought up a good point. I didn't think of it like that. You had said about getting people back into their houses and getting businesses reopened, and that was going to be how you would stimulate the economy to get it back to what it was. Every time I was looking at it, I would always think about maybe using local resources. So if you needed houses rebuilt, maybe half of the city is okay, and there's a lumber yard over there, so maybe use that lumber yard to rebuild the houses and give back to the economy that way to stimulate it. But you did bring up a good point that you do need people in order to stimulate the economy. And the last thing was for the natural and cultural resources. I know you talked about pre-planning. However, there are certain things I don't really think you can pre-plan for when it comes to restoring maybe like a historical landmark that's outside, that maybe has damage from a tornado. There really isn't a way to be able to plan. I mean, are you going to make a building around it? Is it a big rock or something like that, and now it's split into two because a tornado dropped something on it? There's just little things. I think with the historical part of it, I think it is difficult to be able to pre-plan for some of that, especially if it was a historical house and a tornado came through. A house is a pretty big structure. You can't really how do you make it stand through a tornado? So just that was that was pretty much it. I mean, you nailed really everything. You brought up about health and health and social services, and how important it is to make sure that not only the community is healthy, but your responders as well, and volunteers. So other than that, I think you did a great job, and your critique was really well. So thank you. And again, like I said, if this doesn't play, we'll figure it out. You'll get to it eventually. Thank you.